Let's discuss what really happened at practice today. How's it going? Grant Cohn just got back, took the train home from Santa Clara to Oakland, Jack London. Now I'm home, and I want to go through my notebook, play by play, bring you into the joint practice. It was the most interesting practice by far of the offseason, because when a team faces itself, you don't know if the team's good or mediocre or bad. It really helps to see them against a team that you know is, in fact, pretty good. The Broncos are pretty good. Their defense is among the top 3 defenses in the league. Their offense is run by Sean freaking Payton, who I'll get to more in a minute. And their quarterback, Bo Nix, has a live arm, and he's bigger than Purdy and moves well. So they're a test. They also have a lot of former 49ers in the team, like Talanoa Funga, Dre Greenlaw, Mike McGlinchey, DJ Jones. But the big news is that Mykel Williams is injured again. This is not good. And the way it was described by Kyle Shanahan afterward is that they hope it's a left knee hyperextension, but he's going to have further tests. And when Kyle Shanahan says something that's not definitive, I basically tune it out. We'll find out what it is when the tests come back, because Kyle Shanahan, he just says stuff and then the truth comes out. So is it a hyperextension? Could be. Is it something else? Could be. But we do know is this is now the 3rd injury he's had with the 49ers. He got injured in minicamp. He got injured a week ago. Now he's going to be out for a little bit. I guess it depends on these results. Could be a week, could be not a week. We'll see. But I think the big point here is the Niners had the 11th pick, and Jed York said it himself. You don't often get opportunities to pick this high when you're as good as the 49ers. You got to make it count. You have the opportunity to get like a franchise-changing cornerstone. And I'm not saying Mykel won't be that. I'm not. I like the pick. I advocated for it. But again, we're learning. It's a learning process. There's a reason you don't want to take a player with a medical red flag this high. Because if he ends up being injury-prone, then you just wasted your best opportunity to draft a future Hall of Famer or whatever. You just wasted the best pick you're going to have for a while. So this one came down to what? Mykel Williams or Shamar Stewart. They're very similar players, good edge setters who could move to defensive tackle on passing downs. Maybe Mykel Williams has better hands. Maybe Mykel Williams has better feet. Maybe he's a better interior pass rusher. He's definitely younger than Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart tested better at the combine, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a better pass rusher, because he didn't really produce as a pass rusher either, although he had more pressures. But he didn't have a medical red flag. He's not hurt right now, as far as I know. Williams is. So, pulling for him, but it seems like he keeps getting injured. Plays football, gets hurt. Plays football, gets hurt. And that's okay from your 2nd round pick with upside, from your 3rd round pick who has upside, but the 11th pick in the draft, I mean, we've all been nice about Mykel. He's shown flashes. He seems promising. He could be really good in 2 or 3 years. But even Robert Saleh said yesterday, like, it could take a year. He may not show how good of a pass rusher he is the first year. And it seems like other rookies on the team have been much more impressive than him. Upton Stout, CJ West, and Jordan Watkins, who had a huge day today. I think we're going to talk about Jordan Watkins in a minute, but today was so interesting because you got to see what some of these players look against another team. Is CJ West really good? Is Jordan Watkins really good? And again, I didn't really watch the defense, because what would you do in my position? You got to watch the offense, right? Brock Purdy kicks off the day with 2 picks, and what are you going to do? Go over and see what Deommodore Lenoir's up to? But the whole practice kind of got quiet when Mykel Williams was down. He was down for about 2-3 minutes. It's like, is it an ACL? What's going on? And gets off and he's walking, but limping. And you figure, okay, it's not an ACL. He probably didn't tear anything, probably. But he said he hoped. Me too. I'm definitely hoping that Michael Williams didn't hurt himself. I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. But the Niners are consistently one of the most injured teams in the league. The exception of like 2022. They're consistently one of the most injured teams in the league. Well, they see a medical red flag and they're like, that's no problem. He's fine now. Yeah, he was injured all of last year, but that was last year, and now this is a new year. In retrospect, I wouldn't have taken Michael Williams. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I don't like this. Injury issues that have been there for a full calendar year, I feel like you played yourself. You downplayed an injury, which is what you do, and now it's sticking around. And what are you going to do now? Hope and pray. But I mean, talk about taking lumps. This team has injury issues. It's not just Michael Williams who's hurt. It's also Yetur Gross-Matos, who's never been healthy. They played the same position. So Michael and his backup are hurt. Bosa missed all of last week due to soreness, whatever soreness is. I don't know. Let's see if that pops back up. Kevin Givens out. Sam Okwanu out. Jordan Elliott out. Yikes. Week 1 in Seattle. That's going to be an adventure. I mean, really, what the Niners need to prove in that game is that they can stop Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet on the ground. The Seahawks might not have to pass the ball 20 times. Niners are so decimated on the defensive line. No Michael, no Givens, no Elliott, no Yetur. That's not great. But hey, they were prepared to take their lumps. Can we be real? Mac has looked better. Starter by 9. I can't say that he's looked better than Brock. I can't say that because Mac's going against backups and Brock's going against the starters. So that's a big difference. I can't say he's been worse than Brock either, though. And Brock has now thrown 8 picks in camp, while Mac has thrown 3. It seems to me that Mac is definitely bigger than Brock, definitely sees the field better from the pocket than Brock, just because he's bigger. Reads defenses at least as quickly as Brock, throws with at least as much anticipation as Brock, is at least as accurate as Brock. I can say that confidently. I like Mac Jones a lot, but I like Brock too. Should have drafted Jalen Walker and Sanders. Dump BP. I like Brock Purdy. That's not the issue. We're not talking about, is Brock Purdy good anymore? We did that for the last 3 years. That conversation is over. The conversation now is he worth his contract? And I think that's the subtext of what happened today, why the Broncos were making such a big deal out of what they were doing and yelling and laughing, because they were showing up not Mr. Irrelevant. They were showing up the 7th highest paid player in the league, while their quarterback is over there making, bupkis in comparison. That's sort of what the backdrop was today. So let's talk about Purdy's day. Before I give you like a general summary or an impression, why don't I just take you through my notebook and you guys can decide on your own what you thought of Purdy's day, because everyone's got their own biases. You think I have mine. I really don't. So here's how a 7-on-7 kicks off for the first team offense. Purdy throws a pass over the middle to Kittle, running a dig, right to left. Passes behind Kittle, incomplete. Okay, 0 for 1. Next play, Brock Purdy drops back. Has Pearsall running deep up the left sideline. And I got to give Pearsall credit on this play because he beat Patrick Surtain with a stutter go. It was a beautiful route. Ricky Pearsall moves very, very well. If you don't get your hands on him early in the route or at some point in the route, good luck. Good freaking luck. Seriously. He moves really well. And Surtain never faced him before. Beat him in 1-on-1s. Come right back in 7-on-7s. Plays far off. Gives him a cushion. Ricky Pearsall stutter go. Boom. Open. Purdy sees him. Throws a pop-up to the shortstop. No. Throws a pop-up. Not only is it short, it's late, and it's to the inside. He needed to put that one out there, outside the numbers. but it's to the inside. It's high. It's short. It's intercepted. It's a Jimmy Garoppolo deep pass. We've seen when Jimmy would miss deep throws, it was inside, which is like pick city. You're trying to get it away from the safety, man. Pearsall beat the corner. Why are you bringing the safety into the play? Okay, but that's just 2 throws. 7-on-7s. Not really football. Then Matt comes in, does a pretty great job like he always does against the backups. Here comes Purdy again. Hits McCaffrey on goes out from the backfield to the right, cuts across from right to left, hits McCaffrey. Smart. Nice completion. Next play, Purdy to DeMarcus Robinson, quick out left for about 6 yards. It was a bit of a hospital ball, though. The cornerback, Riley Moss, comes down screaming, lowering his shoulder. You know how that is in practice, like he would have blown him up. Hard to know for sure. Next play, Purdy to Kittle, outright for 10 yards. Nice throw. That's 3 in a row for Purdy. Doing well, bouncing back from that interception, which was bad. Next play, Purdy over the middle to Pearsall. Passes high and behind Pearsall, who leaps, spins, gets a hand on it. He jumps very high, just doesn't have long arms. Tips it to a defender. Interception number 2. Now, not the best throw, but that's a tough throw. And in fairness to Purdy, it's a catch that Jennings makes in his freaking sleep. It's a catch that Ayuk makes. It's a throw that they need to stop throwing to Pearsall. That is an interception waiting to happen. Pearsall over the middle. So they learned that. Brock Purdy, you people say like he's throwing picks in practice all the time to learn stuff. Hell yeah, he learned something today. Don't throw the ball over the middle to Pearsall in traffic against the Denver Broncos or teams that are good like them, because he's not physical and doesn't have long arms, and he's going to tip the ball. He's going to come close and tip it to the team. All right. Now we're in 11-on-11s. This is where it gets bad for the offense. First play, handoff to Christian McCaffrey, -3, stopped by Bitonio, who just starts, the whole defense just starts taunting the 49ers in their backfield, at their house. No respect. Smacks Christian McCaffrey. And not McCaffrey's fault, just like they try to run on to the left side, but unfortunately, Trent Williams didn't practice today. He suited up and put on pads, but didn't practice, so they're running off Burford's side. Not exactly the same. Lost at 3. Sorry, Christian. Next play. Play action. Purdy over the middle to Pearsall. How do you think this one's going to end up? Dig. Bad throw out in front. Diving, doesn't get it. Next play, handoff to Patrick Taylor Jr. for no gain. Patrick Taylor Jr. is the backup running back on this team right now. Next play, Christian McCaffrey, no gain, toss left. And like every play, the noise on the Broncos sideline is just getting louder and louder and louder. Next play, Brock to Kittle for 5 yards on a play action bootleg to the left just to get the ball moving. Then second team comes out. Back to the first team. Purdy sacked. Next play, toss to Taylor. Next play, handoff to McCaffrey. A little bit better. Next play, Purdy to Kittle over the middle for 10 yards in the face of heavy pressure. All right, Purdy. All right. Show them what you're all about. Handoff to Patrick Taylor for 10 yards on a draw. That was nice. Purdy to McCaffrey for 10 yards out left in the face of pressure. He's cooking right now. Next play, Purdy to Pearsall. In retrospect, Purdy actually wasn't that bad. It was the Purdy-Pearsall connection that was just awful. Purdy to Pearsall over the middle. Once again, dig. Incomplete. Don't do that. It's not how you want to use him. Next play, Purdy to DeMarcus Robinson on a slant, beats Surtain. He beat him in one-on-ones too. DeMarcus Robinson is a good player. Not super explosive. It's like 31. I don't know if he's going to be a deep threat. He was last year, but he's big. He's physical. He's the only really physical wide receiver out there for the Niners right now. And Surtain is big as hell. In real life. I don't know what he's like in Madden or on TV, but he's big as hell in real life. And DeMarcus did okay against him on that rep. Purdy comes back next play, hits. No, wait, I got that one. Then they got McCaffrey, no gain, toss right. Kiner plus 20 with the jump cut. I think Kiner might be good. Then you had, Purdy to Robinson. dig over the middle, tipped. They need Jennings back so bad. This was a great day for Jauan Jennings. He doesn't even know it yet. Maybe he knows it now. But this day couldn't have worked out any better for Jauan Jennings. They desperately need him. He would have made all these catches. Purdy would have had a good day if Jauan Jennings were out there. McCaffrey, inside zone right for 5. Patrick Taylor Jr. -3, hit by 99. This was bad. Purdy down the middle to Watkins on a post. He's open. This guy's been whooping everyone all day. He's good. He's a little shorter than Pearsall, but he's more physical. He's stronger than Pearsall. Post open, Purdy overthrows him. Rough. He's 4 for 8 at this point in 11 on 11s, 3 for 6 and 7 on 7. So he's having a rough day. And then what's even worse is, so he misses Watkins down the middle. And that's the last play for the first team. The second team comes on the field. And first play for the second team, Mac Jones super casually drops back and throws a 60-yard strike down the middle to Robbie Chosen. It really felt like Kyle Shanahan was like, all right, Brock, you missed that layup. Mac, show him how it's done. That was rough. All right, now they're in the red zone. Purdy hits DeMarcus Robinson on a slant for 10. It's nice. Then you got Pearsall end around -3, hit by Hufanga. Really trying to make that Pearsall thing work. Then you got Purdy to Kittle for 10 outright. Kittle's always open. Kittle's a great player. Kittle really should get 150 targets a year like Kelsey did, but he won't. McCaffrey for 5, bouncing out to the right. Oh, 3rd and 8. Purdy to Pearsall. Dig over the middle. Incomplete. Covered by Riley Moss. They really tried to make that happen. Wasn't happening. Not gonna happen. It's like fetch. They were trying to make fetch happen. It didn't happen. Corey Kiner, no gain. Second team offense. Okay, here they are back here. Purdy, incomplete roll left to Russell Gage. Missed him. Then Purdy touchdown pass in the red zone to McCaffrey after holding the ball for 6 seconds. That was nice. Great protection. Purdy touchdown pass to Jordan Watkins, who beat Patrick Surtain on a slant. He was playing off, but still he beat Patrick Surtain for a touchdown. Shout out Jordan Watkins. Shout out Brock Purdy. And then this next play, he scrambles up the middle for a touchdown himself. Then they get to moving the ball, and he starts doing a lot better. But let me get to the move the ball period. Hands off to McCaffrey for 8. Next play, Purdy to Pearsall. Outside on an out route near the sideline for 10. That's where you throw to Pearsall. One-on-one outside. Next play, throw to Juszczyk for 5 yards. Next play, this is set up like a 2nd and 6. Purdy deep to Juszczyk on a wheel route. He's wide open, and Purdy overthrows this one. How many times we see Jimmy do that? I feel like Purdy had a very Jimmy day. At this point, Mike Shanahan, who's there watching practice, throws up his hands, walks away, and watches the Niners defense face the Broncos offense. Remember, he coached the Broncos for a decade or so. That was rough. And then Purdy did a lot better after that. Because, I don't know what it was, but he just wasn't in a rhythm. It wasn't working. And I got to blame Kyle a little bit here. If the play call was to force the ball to Ricky Pearsall, that didn't help anyone. Didn't help Brock, didn't help the offense, didn't help Ricky. Once they got in a 2-minute drill, which they never, ever do on their own, Brock looked really good. He got in a rhythm. He was spreading the ball around. It wasn't all of a sudden the Ricky Pearsall show, although he got Ricky involved later with that beautiful touchdown up the sideline against Riley Moss in the move the ball period. So I'm not here to dump on Brock Purdy. There's a lot of context there. Most of his bad throws went to Pearsall. And I think they were using Pearsall the wrong way. He's not Ayuk. He's not Jennings. He's a really, really fluid mover. He's faster than Ayuk. He might be more explosive than Ayuk. He's better after the catch than Ayuk. You can give him the ball and end around. You wouldn't really want to do that with Ayuk. But all the physical, like the blocking, beating press, going over the middle, what is Pearsall going to do there? Jordan Watkins is more physical than Ricky Pearsall. He is a finesse. He is the good version of Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis is the bad version, although Dante Pettis is still in the league. But Pearsall is a much more explosive mover than Dante Pettis. And he's tougher than Dante Pettis, but he's not physical. Anyway, we're talking about Purdy. early on in the practice, the Broncos were showing so much disrespect, yelling, sneering, laughing. It's kind of stuff the Chargers did in 2021 when the Niners came to town. And I feel like it wasn't because Jimmy was just bad. It was that Jimmy was not playing like one of the highest paid players in the league probably should. And that's a team, the Chargers, that had Justin Herbert playing on a rookie deal. So the Broncos are looking at their guy, Bo Nix, who's affordable and young, and they're looking at Brock Purdy making $53 million a year thinking, our guy's better. What's going on over here? Bigger, stronger, those bigger arm, turns the ball over less. But he's just figuring out where not to throw Ricky Pearsall the ball. So that was definitely an educational experience for sure. Josh says, so is Brock worse than Mac? Is that what's happening? Let me take a sip of tea real quick. Is Brock worse than Mac? Say this. We haven't seen Mac in this system yet. We haven't seen Brock not in the system yet. So we've seen Mac do well with Josh McDaniels, do poorly with Matt Patricia and Doug Peterson. Now we're seeing them both in the same system, and so far, Mac does have better numbers in camp, but he's playing with the second string. Brock definitely has more of a playmaker mentality and ability. He can go off script better. He can extend plays better. But I'm starting to think about quarterbacks the way that Sean Payton does. Okay, I love the positive plays that Brock Purdy can create out of structure on his own. Love that. That's something Mac Jones can't do. But a lot of bad quarterbacks can do that. Caleb Williams can do that. He's terrible, at least for right now. And I think you can make the occasional nice play with your legs, rolling out, extending, holding the ball. But if you are creating a negative play 10% of the time, then those positive plays probably aren't worth it, because the negative plays are at best sacks, which are drive killers, and at worst turnovers, which are game killers. And with Brock, I mean, his sack percentage went up last year. His time to throw went up last year. He's holding the ball longer, forcing things down the field. He just became more mistake prone. And I hope that trend stops. Because if the more he plays and the more the league is exposed to him, the more mistakes he makes, then he's not going to be a starter, for 10 more years. He'll go the Jimmy Garoppolo route. And with Mac, he's not going to give you a bunch of big plays. What he'll do is execute the offense, which will lead to big plays, and theoretically not create a bunch of negative ones on his own. We'll see if that plays out. In games, it's playing out that way in practice. And I think the presence of Mac, the return of the Mac, is going to put pressure on Brock to play the right way. Because if he starts freelancing like he did last year, mess around, freelance, lose, have a rough September, miss a game with a hangnail, Mac Jones comes in, lights it up, well, then it's easy to go with the hot hand, no matter how much they paid him. So I guess that's interesting. David Kendall Jr. says, you play how practice and Brock is not one. I think you play how you practice. JDM 4087 says, the only Moody I like in the Bay is Moses Moody. I'm not even a big Moses Moody guy, really. I'm not big on the Moody's, the Bay Area Moody's. Is there a Moody I'm not thinking of? I think I already broke down Ricky Pearsall today. I think I gave you every freaking target he had, all 8 of them. I mean, the good news is he caught one for a touchdown. The bad news is he was utterly useless over the middle today. So good to know his strengths and weaknesses. He's not, you took him at the end of round 1. He's not going to be the most complete receiver, but I don't know. Ladd McConkey's pretty good over the middle. That's all I wanted to say. But you know what? If he's good outside the numbers, if he's good on, stutter goes, fades, deep crossing routes, shallow crosses, jet sweeps and end arounds, great. Sounds like a hell of a number 2 receiver. And a pretty good compliment to Juwan Jennings, who's tough as hell. But yeah, Juwan's got to be laughing, man. He made himself some money today. But yeah, I don't have much to say about Ricky Pearsall. We already talked about him. Should we talk about Jordan Watkins? I already talked about him too. He's great. He's my favorite player. All right, we'll come back to Jordan Watkins in a minute. Let's talk Sean Payton versus Kyle Shanahan. Sean Payton versus Kyle Shanahan. I think it's apparent why Sean Payton is better than Kyle Shanahan in these practices. I think you can see there's subtle differences in the way the Broncos and 49ers do things. First of all, the Broncos stretch like static stretching, laying on the ground. You know what static stretching looks like. You guys do it. I do it. Niners don't do static stretching. They only do dynamic stretching, which is like stretching while moving. None of that like laying on the ground, pulling one thing. No, none of that. Dynamic stretching. And you know what? Maybe there's some studies that say that that's all you need to do and that's better and that static does it. All I know is that whatever the Niners do doesn't work. And they've had this soft tissue issue forever. And I don't even think about the stretching. But then I watch the Broncos actually go through a whole lot more stretching than the 49ers. And I'm like, man, maybe that'd be something to try. I'm no expert, but like lots of soft tissue injuries. Maybe try more stretching. Switch up the stretching. Add to the stretching. So there's a team that doesn't have a bunch of soft tissue injuries. And there's the Niners doing stuff differently. So that's one thing. Just the overall preparation for the practice. And then they do 7-on-7s with Denver. The Niners never do 7-on-7s. They do 1-on-1s and then 7-on-7s, then 11-on-11s, then red zone, then move the ball, then 2-minute drill. Kyle only does 2-minute drill in the afternoon as a walkthrough. What is the point of that, man? It's the hurry up offense. How do you practice the hurry up offense? Walking. Do they power walk? Maybe they power walk. Can you imagine Ricky Pearsall power walking through his corner route? Brock Purdy power walking to the line of scrimmage after completing a pass? Slow down. This is a power walkthrough. I think it's interesting that Brock Purdy's worst moments today were when Kyle Shanahan was micromanaging him, and his best moments were when he could just be an athlete. What is the point of having a smart quarterback if you treat him like he's an idiot? If you treat him like he can't think for himself? If you treat him like he's a robot? Maybe idiot isn't the right word. What's the point of having a smart quarterback if you treat him like he's a robot? Like he can't do anything on his own. Like you got to hold the controller like it's PlayStation, and he's just on the screen. Anyway, Sean Payton's a much better coach. That being said, there's something inherently sleazy about Sean Payton. I mean, we know his past. He got in trouble. That Bounty Gate stuff was stuff about the Niners. I mean, he did that when he faced the Niners in the playoffs and lost. And you may not remember that year. That year started. It didn't just start with the Niners and for the Saints. It didn't just end with their loss to the Niners in the playoffs. It started with the preseason game against the Niners where they destroyed the Niners and sacked Alex Smith like 8 times and blitzed a lot. Kind of broke some unwritten football rules, codes to do that because it was a big middle finger to Jim Harbaugh. I guess Sean Payton didn't like him, felt Harbaugh was whatever. He wanted to show him up, did show him up. It felt like that today. Like, hey, in front of all your fans, all your media, we're going to destroy Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall. Destroy him. And we're going to let you hear about it. We're going to call kind of exotic stuff that you're not prepared for, that you've never seen. And you'll thank us for it afterward for giving you a good look. And then halfway through practice, when we've thoroughly embarrassed you, and we'll go vanilla, let you redeem yourself, feel a little bit better about yourself, so you can change the narrative on the way out. That's what the whole day felt like. After we embarrass you, again, I wasn't watching the Broncos offense. Maybe they weren't. Although every time I looked up, it was Bo Nix throwing the ball 20 yards down the field on the sideline to Cortland Sutton making an incredible catch. But I don't know what happened over there. Niners offense thoroughly embarrassed for about half an hour. 7-on-7, 11-on-11. Then they just was like, all right, I think we proved our point. Anyway, if there's one thing Kyle Shanahan can take away from Sean Payton today, the stretching. You might want to try stretching differently because it works for them. Also, what if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? Do you ever think about that? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it will finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. It never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Kyle, discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type. And when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinesstype.com. That's myhappinesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your whole life. Wow. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, okay? Okay? A journey inward, not out, inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today. How about that? All right. Top 5 rookies on the Niners through 12 days of camp. Ranked in order, ascending order from 5 to 1. Let's do it. Who do you think is going to be number 5 on my list? I already tweeted it, so if you saw it, don't cheat. Number 5 on the list, I'm going to go with linebacker Nick Martin. Just because I think he's having a solid camp, but he hasn't made any plays. Like, he hasn't picked anyone off yet, but he's like around the ball making, tackles in a session where no one tackles. So I'm going to give him 5, just because he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. So Nick Martin, number 5. Number 4, Mykel Williams. He's hurt. We don't know how hurt, but he's actually made some plays. As a defensive end, you can see that he's a really good run defender right now. I would say that he's probably a better run defender right now on the edge than Nick Bosa right now. Well, he's hurt right now, but before the injury, after, when he's back. As an interior rusher, I think he's better. I don't know about right now, not right now, but I think the potential when he's done growing and when he's like 23, 24, he will be a better interior rusher than Eric Armstead ever was. Eric Armstead wasn't that good of an interior rusher right away. It took him like 4 years. Go back and look at his stats. He did a bunch of nothing until his contract year, his 5th year. And then he got paid and went back to doing a bunch of nothing as a pass rusher. That's the Eric Armstead experience. I think, and he was never that like shifty or slippery. He would just bull rush you, and he had pretty good pad level, and he was strong. So he could push the pocket. He wouldn't finish that many plays. He got a bunch of cleanup sacks in 2019 and got paid for it. I think as an interior rusher, Mykel Williams is much more fluid, shifty, like a smaller DeForest Buckner. That's why Trent Williams compared him to Buckner. So he's like Buckner if Buckner was a little smaller and could play defensive end, because Buckner could not play defensive end. That being said, he's a project, and he's gotten hurt 3 times this offseason. So he's 4. Number 3. CJ West. CJ West has been the star of the defensive lineman. It looks like a 3-down player. He's a nose tackle. He doesn't have the ideal body type to play 3 technique. He's a little bit short. He's like 6'1", doesn't have long arms, but he's relentless. He's violent. He has moves on top of moves on top of moves. He has a pass rush plan. He has counters. He can bull rush you. He can go around you. He can work edges. He looks very stout in the run game. Again, it's hard to crown a lineman before you've seen him in preseason, which maybe in a week, maybe in 4 days, 3 days, he'll be number 1 on this list after he dominates a preseason game. But for now, also, I didn't get to see him in one-on-ones. I was watching Ricky Pearsall. I didn't get to see him in 11-on-11s. I was watching Brock Purdy. So maybe he was phenomenal over there. Maybe he was awful. Don't know. But based on what I've seen in practice, number 3. Number 2. Number 2. Jordan Watkins. Jordan Watkins is having such a good offseason. He missed one day with something, and then he came right back. He's not big. He's about 5'11 and a half. He's about Brandon Ayuk size, maybe half an inch shorter. He's got real thick legs, pause, as opposed to Ricky Pearsall, who's more spindly. Ricky Pearsall looks like a classic wide receiver. Jordan Watkins looks a little bit more like a receiver / running back, although he runs routes like a wide receiver. He's faster than Ricky Pearsall. He's more physical than Ricky Pearsall. I'm not saying he's better than Ricky Pearsall, but I'm not saying he's not either. And like, if Jawan Jennings doesn't get resolved by then, if he's not in football shape week 1, and he's not in the same page as Brock Purdy, they don't need to force the issue with Jawan week 1 right away, because this guy's really good. Robinson's pretty good. And Pearsall is very good at certain things. I think Pearsall's got to be a Z or a slot. You can't have him on the line of scrimmage. He's not strong enough. You got to make sure that he can't be touched. Can't be touched. I think Watkins can play split end. I think he can play the X. I think you put him on the line of scrimmage. I think he's quick and strong enough to beat press coverage. Maybe not immediately, but maybe next year. I'm not even rolling him out for this year either. He's good. He went to Ole Miss. He played for Lane Kiffin. It seems like he's been in a pro system for a while. Maybe Ole Miss's system isn't super like pro style, but it's a pro coach. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I think he's really good. And he's fast. And if Brock Purdy won't hit him on the post, you know who will? McCorkle. Mac Dre. Mac Miller. Number 1 rookie. Who was the number 1 rookie? Upton Stout. He's so good. He's my favorite player in the NFL right now. He might be my favorite player of all time. Today had an interception in one-on-one drills, which is not easy to do, especially playing nickel. The guy can go left, right, whatever he wants. He falls down, Upton Stout makes a diving interception. Did I see it live? No, but the Niners posted a video of it, and I watched it. You guys could watch it too. I'm talking about it like I saw it and no one else saw it. No, I just do what they posted it. But it looked nice. Of all the players on the team, he's been improved the most. When I first saw him, at the beginning of camp, I thought he was completely overrated. He was getting worked by Russell Gage. Now, he's working Russell. Pause. But you'd love to see that. Some might. And the thing about Upton Stout is I really feel like people are going to start to realize who he is or know who he is based on the tackles he makes in games. So the fact that he can do this stuff in coverage is just like it's the cherry on top. They drafted him for his tackling. Primarily. And they wanted him to be K'Wan Williams. K'Wan Williams wasn't fast. K'Wan Williams couldn't cover man-to-man. This guy can cover man-to-man, despite being 5'8.5". So it looks like a good rookie class, unless I'm completely misjudging Watkins, Stout, and West. Those 3 look like hits. 3 hits. Michael, we'll see. If he's healthy, he'll be a hit eventually. But we'll see. And then Nick Martin, too early to say. Alfred Collins, honorable mention, starting to get better. And they're going to need him to play because their defensive tackles, they have none. Jordan Elliott's out. I made this point, right? We talked about this. Yeah. And the thing about Alfred Collins is I don't think it's I think he's exactly what they drafted him to be. I think he fits he didn't come in and not fit the billing. It's like, oh God, who thought, no. He had 1 sack in 16 games last year. Read his scouting report. He's slow off the line of scrimmage. They knew this. They're going to try to change him a little bit to be a little bit more aggressive, and maybe that'll have some dividends with his production, but ultimately they didn't draft him to do that. Of course, they'll try to help him improve, and maybe in a couple years, he'll be freaking Chris Jones. I don't know. But for now, he's a guy who ideally will play 16, 17 games, give you 1 or 2 sacks, eat up double teams, shut down the run, and bat down some passes. Maybe even intercept one. Go and look at his numbers. He had a bunch of pass breakups in college, not a bunch of sack. You know why? High pad level. Bull rush stalls out. Quarterback has the ball. What's he going to do? What you going to do? Are you going to get it popping, or are you going to jump and bat down that pass? You can't get it popping. What song am I singing? I don't know, but they play it Orange Theory all the time, and I don't feel like singing it. Up in the morning, girl, the DJ playing that song. Hey, what you gonna do? I'm gonna get it popping. Hate that song, man. But it gets stuck in your head, and now you gotta hear it. What song is that? It's not a good song. Oh, man. Was Bryce Huff good? Man, I was watching the Niners offense. I wish I watched the defense, though, because everyone watched the offense, and I feel like I could have stolen everyone else's reports, pretended it was mine, and then tell you what happened to the defense. Because that's honorable journalism. You know what I mean? Stop talking about me falling off a treadmill. That didn't happen. There's no visual evidence that ever happened. Okay, so you guys making fun of the Niners drafting Michael Williams and Alfred Collins because they're big. I'm just going to say one thing. The Rams have a good defense, right? And they have this great pass rush, right? But why didn't they go to the Super Bowl last year? Because their D-line is small as hell, and they got ran over by the Eagles twice last year. And it's still a small defense. You can't win that way. Let's talk about something else, man. The defensive line. You know, the wide nine is interesting because when did the Niners bring in the wide nine defense? They brought it in 2019. They didn't have it the first 2 years. Correct? Remember? No wide nine. They were defending the run really well, actually. First 2 years of Saleh's tenure. Then he switches to the wide nine in 2019. Who was he trying to take down? Who was the top dog in the division back then? The Rams. What did their offense look like in 2019? 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, 1 back. All the time, right? So wide nine's perfect to stop that. You don't have a fullback on the field. You're not physical in the run game. You're trying to get outside the tackles against nickel. You don't have that much scheme, and you're trying to throw the ball. So wide nine, set the edges, get upfield. Great counter to the Rams in 2019. Now the team to beat in the NFC is Philly. So how does a wide nine help you beat Philly? Oh, it doesn't. It helps you lose to Philly. So I wonder if Robert Saleh, who's very smart and one step ahead, is, thinking about some other fronts to use. Because you're not trying to stop Todd Gurley and Jared Goff anymore. And Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp. Those days are over. Even the Rams. The Rams are a 2 tight end offense now. And 2 tight end offenses are devastating against the wide nine because it just widens the wide nine. Now the gaps are even larger. So I'd like to think, I feel like I've seen some of it too. They're going to have that strong side linebacker be really big. It's not going to be Nick Martin. It'll be Luke Gifford or Curtis Robinson, someone who's almost defensive end size, 6'3", 240, 250. And he will be able to shift down to the line of scrimmage and be a 5th guy in the line of scrimmage if they need it, which is what they need. They need a change-up 5-man line. And they also, in goal line situations, can take Gifford off the field and put 3 defensive tackles on the field. That's what I think the plan is. CJ West is such a classic nose tackle. In a 5-man front in the goal line, you could have CJ West at nose, Collins at 1-3 tech, Jordan Elliott at the other 3 tech, and then Michael Williams and Nick Bosa on the edges. That's a freaking goal line defense. A big reason the Niners defense was so bad last year was that they actually, you go back and look, their defense ranked very high in yards allowed. It's just the points didn't match up. Why were they 29th in points and 8th in yards allowed? Because they couldn't stop the other team from running into the end zone from 4 yards out. Why? Because they used the freaking wide nine on the 4. Why? Because their defensive coordinator is a special teams coordinator who made no adjustments. So now you got Saleh. He's no dummy. He's actually super smart. So you're going to see some 5-man fronts. You're going to see some fronts that can actually stop these incredibly powerful rushing attacks that are so prevalent in the NFC these days. It's not just Philly. It's Washington. It's Detroit. It's Chicago. It's Baltimore in the AFC. So what else do we want to talk about? Oh, Christian McCaffrey. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. So Christian McCaffrey had a good day. He didn't have Trent Williams out there. And Brock Purdy kind of struggled. Christian McCaffrey kind of struggled. That's what happens when Trent Williams doesn't play. The whole operation falls apart. Trent Williams is by far the most valuable player on this team. If Brock Purdy goes down, there's a world where Mac Jones wins a Super Bowl. If Trent's out there. But if Trent goes down, this team is not winning. They might win one game a month. I don't care who's healthy without Trent. So anyway, Christian McCaffrey gave a valiant effort, had some good plays, made some nice catches, ran hard. I noticed though that he doesn't stay on the field for more than a play at a time. He'll be on the field, he'll run the ball, catch a ball, run a route, then he's off. Maybe they're just pacing him. Maybe that's how they're going to use him during the season. Maybe that's a good thing. But I noticed it. And if that's how they're going to use him, great. They need to have a good backup running back, which is why I thought they should have kept Jordan Mason. But they didn't. They traded Jordan Mason for a 5th round pick and then spent a 5th round pick on Jordan James, who's hurt. Again, he had he had a knee issues, and now he has a broken finger. Here's the thing, man. Jordan Mason is huge and freaking bruising, and you brought in Jordan James to fill that role. He's way smaller than Jordan Mason. So much depends on Christian McCaffrey this year. It'd be nice if the Niners still had Jordan Mason. Let me ask you guys a question that's somewhat related, maybe unrelated. If you had to bet right now, which teams will make the Super Bowl, who would you pick? I've been thinking about this. In the AFC, my choice is always the same. I think if you're actually putting money on the line, you can't bet against Kansas City. I wouldn't. If you want to lose money, bet on Baltimore to win the AFC. So I'm still riding with Kansas City until proven otherwise. Patrick Mahomes is essentially God in cleats. I don't care what his numbers are the last 2-3 years. All I know is that he's 14-7 since 2022 or the last 5 years when he enters the fourth quarter losing. 14-7. No other quarterback in the league has a winning record, man. That is all you need to know about that guy. Sure, he has a good defense and he has Spagnuolo and Reed, but that's him. He's the most clutch quarterback I've ever seen. Ever. So, what are we talking about? Oh, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Kansas City in the AFC. And then the NFC, I don't feel great about the Niners after they got kind of punked by the Broncos today. I don't feel great about the Rams. Freaking Stafford's got a bad back and he's 37. Let me tell you something. I got a bad back and I'm 37. Sometimes it goes away and I'm like, oh, that'll never come back again. Guess what? It comes back. I do all the work. I do the glute bridges. I do all the ab work. So many glute bridges. Activation. And it works for a while. And then, I don't know, I sleep on it wrong or I'm stressed or whatever. And then it's 3 weeks and it hurts and I limp around and shit. It's awful. I feel like I'm 70. And I feel like it's going to be like that the rest of my way because that's what getting old is all about. So that's the Rams. And they have Jimmy Garoppolo after him, which I don't care what he does. I just want him to start against the Niners in that Thursday night game. Was that week 5? And I think it's going to happen. So there's that. And then you got Seattle with Sam Darnold. I mean, he's a disaster. He's a negative play waiting to happen, even in the best of circumstances. There's a reason why Minnesota got rid of him. Arizona, I mean, if Call of Duty didn't exist, yeah, maybe Arizona. Then in the North, and I don't buy Philly again. I feel like what happened to Christian last year is so potentially going to happen to Saquon Barkley. They gave him a bajillion touches, more or less. And now he's what, 28? He's going to do it again. Not that they need him to carry him, but he was a big difference maker last year. I'm not picking them, although they're still really great on paper. Not Green Bay. I feel like they're the same as last year. They still don't have a number one wide receiver. I like Jordan Love, though. Not Detroit. They're going to miss Ben Johnson. Not Chicago. That I don't care that they have Ben Johnson. It's just a poverty organization, and everyone fails there. Everyone. Plus, Caleb Williams is. I don't believe in him. I think he makes too many mistakes. I don't care. I think what he did in college was run around and do a bunch of stuff off schedule, and his overwhelming talent carried him, but he still made a bunch of mistakes, and now those mistakes are outweighing the good stuff that he does. So, don't believe in them. I'm going with Minnesota. Yeah, I think J.J. McCarthy's going to pull it off. I'm not saying he's going to win the Super Bowl, but I think Jim Harbaugh's protege from Michigan is going to have a good year. Why? Because the Vikings are freaking loaded. They're so loaded. Why? Because they're not paying for a quarterback. They were loaded last year, and now they're even more loaded because their offensive line is way better than it was last year. They got Christian Darrisaw back. They added some guys in the interior. Way better offensive line, and they got Jordan Mason. So now they're going to be able to protect their quarterback, run the ball. Teams are never going to load the box against Minnesota, ever, because they have Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. So, I don't know. I don't really buy the Commanders. I feel like they won a bunch of close games last year, and their team is old. Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is actually important to that team. Bobby Wagner's, he's like Stafford age. And there's, who else is really old on that team? McLaurin. He's 30-something and not signed. So I don't know. Minnesota. Or the Niners. But more probably Minnesota. And if Jordan Mason has a season I'm expecting, 10 plus touchdowns, 1,000 yards, dude, why did you trade him? Why? Because I liked him? Just to spite me? I'll never understand what the Niners had against him. But, he hasn't done it yet. I'm just envisioning what's going to happen. Chiefs over Vikings in the Super Bowl. Vikings over Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Jordan Mason, Super Bowl MVP. I don't make the rules. I just had a vision, and I'm passing it on to you. How's Juice doing? He actually should have caught a long pass today, but Brock Purdy overthrew him. Grant, they were just taking their lumps today. That was a good one. I like that one. Faithful Saint says, has Salah found his DJ Reed and Stout? I don't think they're going to play Stout on the outside, but maybe. I think Michael Williams will be Michael Bennett. Could be. Michael Bennett was really good. Peter does not drink, says Stout called it when he got the call. You just got a dog, coach. Let me look up Michael Bennett real quick, and then we'll go. Michael Bennett. No, the other Michael Bennett. Here we go. From Ohio State. No, that's not the right Michael Bennett. The other Michael Bennett. Is that the right Bennett? Marked Michael Bennett. There he is. Michael Bennett, 6'4", 275. Yeah, I could see it. He was in Tampa for 4 years. Then Seattle got him in 2013. And that's when they won the Super Bowl, when they got Michael Bennett. They had a really good defense. They had Chris Clemens, Bruce Irvin. But then in 2013, they got Bennett and Averill. And Averill didn't start. Averill was sort of like their Bryce Huff. And Bennett was like their Mike. You can see the vision from Robert Saleh. He's trying to build that Super Bowl winning defense, the Legion of Boom, essentially. Bennett would, that's a good call. Bennett would be Michael. Bryce Huff would be Cliff Averill. I guess Bosa would be a way better version of Bruce Irvin, I guess. Yeah. Who's Richard Sherman? Lenore? Who's Cam Chancellor? Mustafa, eventually. Grunt Bone says, how have the Jakes done today? Bosa, Nepo Baby too. That's true. Bosa never gets any Nepo pushback. Jakes are not good, man. The Jakes are really pulling the Niners down. Jake Brendel, Jake Moody. If you can't go by Jake. If your name is Jacob, you're okay. Jacob Robinson, he spells it with a K as well. Smart. Good player. Jake Brendel, no. Jake Moody, no. If they want to get serious, I think Jake Brendel should change his name to Jacob Brendel. Jacob Moody, the first. Just be more serious, you know? You can have a nickname when you're really good. Like, you know, Robbie Chosen. If he wasn't doing well, he'd be Robert. But he's so good, he could be Bob Chosen. Big Bobby Chosen. He could be that. He's that good. But that's why I was like, when Jimmy Garoppolo started fading, I'm like, dude, you got to be James now, man. James Garoppolo. I like that Brock doesn't have a nickname. He's not like Brocky Purdy. None of that nickname BS when you're the quarterback. Full name: Thomas Brady, Joseph Montana, Stephen Young. Full name. I would make that a thing if I were a coach. You need to go by your full name. William. Do you think Jacob Robinson should make 53? Yes. Yes. But I don't think, I think they should keep their young guys. They're going to get rid of Luter or Robinson. They're going to end up on some other team. They're going to end up starting. Watch. So they can keep like Dallas Flowers or someone who's 29 or whatever. They're going to keep Dallas Flowers because he's 6'1" and he's 28 over someone like Darrell Luter or Jacob Robinson, and it's going to bite him. I hope they don't. Quality control telling you don't do that. Jacob Robinson is good. He's built just like Lenore. 5'10". Lenore had like 15, 20 pounds on him coming out. But otherwise, like the frame is exactly the same. Just need to put on a little muscle. All right. Womack. All right. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Day off tomorrow. I'll be golfing. I'll be doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I don't know. But yesterday, I played 9 at Monarch. You ever play the Monarch 9 hole? It's so nice. There's like 3 par 4s on it. You can use your driver and hybrid a little bit. +4. I hit 5 greens in regulation. I've never played like this before. Best I've ever done on that is +9. I did a +4. I was +5 after 5, and then I went par, birdie, par down. Like, who am I? Grant Cohn. It's fucking right. It's fucking right. Anyway, I just want you to know that. I like a 9 hole. 18 rounds of golf is a lot, dude. Man, I got Niners to talk about. I can't just be golfing it up all day. Give me 9 holes. Also, it's like $15. And if you're a member, it's like 3. And it's a nice course. Anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.